Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday. I apologize about not being here yesterday for my live stream because I was feeling pretty worse for wear after the first away game in over 500 days with a full away stadium. It was a bit of a joke, really. You saw my match reaction. It was a bit of a joke. Overall, the performance, the 1-0, we'll speak about that in a bit more detail. But the focus of today still remains the transfer window. Hopefully today we're live on Facebook. Gone back to the old setup because something's got, I need to sort it. It's not working. But anyway, there's 1 week left in the transfer window. And that game against Southampton highlighted the problem that we've all been saying Manchester United have. And that's in midfield. It really got exposed against Southampton. I'll run through it in a bit more detail. We'll look at the 11. We'll look at the central midfield we have. And the reason why we just need to sort it in the next 7 days. Ruben Neves is a man whose name is on that list. So is Eduardo Camavinga. So is Saul Niguez. Could it maybe be a low move for him? Man United need to make a move in the last week of the transfer window. And no, Gary Neville, I'm not talking about signing Harry bloody Kane. But how are you all doing? What did you think about that game against Southampton? I apologize if the quality is not completely good. I'm having look, I love technical issues. I'm getting a new laptop now. My setup is not powerful enough to make this as crisp and as professional as I want it to be. But we need to speak about that Southampton game. I gave you my match reaction after it, my initial match reaction. I stand by pretty much everything I said there. But now that the dust has settled, it allows us to sort of sit back and analyze it in a bit more detail. And I mean, I'll be honest, I was disappointed with the lineup. I was disappointed because we had Sancho. We didn't start Sancho. We had Varane. We didn't start Varane. And we started a lineup that I don't think was the right look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's go here. Big issues here. We all know what the main issue was. And the main issue was Fred and Matic starting as our two midfielders. I'm really not sure, actually, why McTominay didn't start. Let me know in the comments below. Has Solskjaer actually explained why McTominay didn't start in that game? Because out of those three midfielders, McTominay was probably man of the match against Leeds. And unless he was not completely fit, I found that a bit odd. Something else I found odd as well is we moved Mason Greenwood, who was absolutely fantastic through the middle against Leeds in a central position. And he got pushed to the side so Anthony Martial could play there, an out-of-form striker. Bit odd. So you guys in the comments, you're saying that he picked up a knock. Right, okay, cool, we picked up a knock. That's why McTominay didn't start. I'm not going to have a huge go at Solskjaer for that. But as the game progressed, and I knew this would look... This is what I said to you against Leeds after the Leeds game. I said, look, it's all well and good playing like that against Leeds. Leeds are a team who leave huge spaces in behind. They're not a very compact team. They go aggressive, and Manchester United can always exploit those spaces. Manchester United this season will and have already become unstuck by a team that sits a bit more disciplined. James Ward-Prowse and Romeo in midfield. I think Romeo was probably the better of the midfielders from their perspective in terms of breaking us up. But Man United will become unstuck this year against teams like Southampton that can sit in shape. And Manchester United didn't really have an answer. We had that 25-minute period after the start of the second half. And we scored early, 9 minutes into the second half, I think it was. And from that point on, we were just flowing forward. We couldn't get that second goal, though. And you'll know what happens when you don't get that second goal, when you're on top and you don't take advantage of it. Now, this is why Manchester United need to sign a central midfielder in the next 7 days. It is as simple as that. If our ambition truly is to compete for the Premier League title this year, which it has to be, because we've gone out and we've signed Sancho, we've gone out and we signed Varane. Therefore, our ambition absolutely is to win that. You don't sign players like that if you're not aiming to win the title. But we've immediately become unstuck in the first hurdle of these are the sorts of games where we're going to look back at the end of the season and go, that's where we dropped. There'll be loads of games like that. 5-1 blistering performances against Leeds and performances like that. They're going to come through every so often. But it's the consistency every single week. And I think if we had a better central midfielder, a better holding midfielder, we wouldn't have seen Man United playing with that double pivot. It's a double pivot that so many of us have been so angry with. We had Fred and Matic playing here. And Matic, look, man, I thought Matic actually played all right for decent parts of that game. SofaScore giving him a better rating than Fred. I thought Fred was, Fred's Fred. I'm telling you, play Fred in a position where he's more of a box-to-box midfielder. You're going to get a lot more out of Fred. Simple as that. Playing in a double pivot. It pisses me off to keep repeating the same goddamn points, but you're going to see performances like that from Fred, where it was just the game passed him by. So we've got a week. It's not as if we needed more evidence, right? We didn't need that result against Southampton to understand that Manchester United needed a central midfielder. But we've had it. There's more evidence. And now Manchester United have got 7 days. 7 days until the transfer deadline closes. And there's three main players who have been linked with us all summer long, who we haven't made a move for yet. And that's Ruben Neves from Wolves, Eduardo Camavinga from Rennes. And you can talk about Saul Niguez if you want, but I think Saul Niguez has basically been as linked to Manchester United as Declan Rice has. The Declan Rice rumours won't go away. Andy Mitten is still talking about them, but when West Ham aren't selling Declan Rice this summer, we were always going to be outpriced from that move. It's as simple as that. So there's two names on the list. And if we're looking at the main option, well, not the main option, but someone who, you know what I've been saying about him, that's Ruben Neves, man. Because if you just take a look at how Ruben Neves played there, why is that still on the screen? That's a bit weird. Ruben Neves against Spurs, 8.7 performance. He's had a strong start to the season. And Ruben Neves, as I've said to you all along, and I've kept repeating this for anybody who disagree with me, he's not a long shot merchant. 57 passes there. 19 long balls, 16 accurate. And that is the key asset to Ruben Neves' game. 6 tackles, 5 key chances, 5 key passes, chances created. Ruben Neves, dominant performance in central midfield there for Wolves against Spurs. Ultimately, Spurs won, but Ruben Neves is available for the right price. Wolves' manager has gone on record to say, look, we're not speaking about Ruben Neves leaving. We have no intention of letting him leave, but every player has their price. And that's the same thing with Ruben Neves. It's the same thing with anybody. But Manchester United still haven't really gone too aggressive on it. But what we should have seen there, or not should have seen, but behind the scenes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should have been going in to speak to John Murtough and say, look, there's your issue. But at the same time, in terms of looking at the midfield and the problems that Manchester United had, but at the same time, Donny van der Beek. Why didn't Donny come on against Southampton? It's getting a bit weird now. It's getting a bit weird with Van der Beek. So much was said about how impressive he has been during the preseason and during the summer break. He went out. He knew he wasn't physically robust enough for the Premier League last year, so he went on a weight gaining program, put on some lean muscle, came back looking fitter, looking stronger. And that was after the disappointment of the Euros, where he's like, fine, I'm going to play some football. And then an injury ruled him out from that. Donny still didn't come on against Southampton. And surely would he not have been a better player, maybe to take Matic off, to put a bit more craft in that midfield, a bit more somebody who can make from deep? I don't know. Let me know what you think about Donny van der Beek in the comments below. But as I said, it's starting to get a little bit weird. Anuj, you're saying that Ole just doesn't have Van der Beek in his plans. Look, I kind of said it all along that it seemed a bit weird to me throughout this whole thing that Donny van der Beek has always felt like a signing that Solskjaer didn't make, that the club made, and he had to agree with it. But apparently Solskjaer has the power of veto over any signings at Manchester United, so surely that wouldn't be the case, right? Would not be the case. Ishan, what are you saying? You're saying Southampton was an Ole masterclass to push the midfield signing. I like that. But it's genuinely not. It's genuinely not as if we needed more evidence that Manchester United's issue this season, keep saying summer and season, is going to lie in midfield. That's where we're going to become unstuck. And at the first opportunity, we became unstuck against Southampton. I don't think Leeds was ever going to be that opportunity because Leeds were going to go aggressive and leave space. And that's when you get the best out of United. But when we play likes of Norwich this season, when we play the likes of Newcastle, when we play the likes of teams that are going to sit a bit more disciplined and deep, we are going to become unstuck. Simple as that. And it was the first example of first place that could have happened. And it happened. Victor, how you doing, my man? In the comments. Missed you. How are things out in Australia? Victor, what you're saying is, what does Donny van der Beek have to do to start? Seriously. Get Fred out of the team. He is poor. He can't even pass. Too many mistakes. Never start Martial and Matic again. How is Ole not starting Sancho and Varane? Seriously. I don't know, really, if I'm being completely honest. Sancho was fit enough to come on after 60 minutes and he looks sharp as hell. I think he was completely fine. And you see Lukaku coming in straight away, starting for Chelsea, scoring man of the match performance, 2-0 win against Arsenal. If he's fit enough to do it, why isn't Sancho fit enough to do it? It seems a choice from Solskjaer to really sort of ease them into the team. And I find it a little bit odd. Martial is going to be hot and cold. Martial will never, ever not just be a hot and cold player. I don't think we've never seen that consistency from him. I don't know whether we ever will. And he was poor against Southampton. And you can't, it's strange. I'm always a huge advocate of players being picked on form, of players being like Greenwood through the middle last week against Leeds was outstanding, sensational. And he scored against Southampton too. He's been the strongest starter for Manchester United this season. And he gets forced out wide. I just find that a bit weird. Jackie, good morning to you, Jackie. How are you doing? Thank you very much for joining as a member. Anybody else who wants to get involved, help the channel, keep taking it forward. Unlike Manchester United's midfield, hit the join button down below. But it's not just it is not just Ruben Neves we've been linked with. We all know that. And the one name that just will not go away, and that's Eduardo Camavinga. Eduardo Camavinga has been on our list. My God, spazzing out. Can't wait to get a new computer, seriously. Man United are still interested in the move for Ren midfielder. What is going on there? You can't see anything. Jeez. So, Man United are still interested in Ren midfielder Eduardo Camavinga, although a move to Old Trafford is viewed as unlikely, apparently. I find that so odd. I find it strange that that's still the case. But Manchester United, we need to sign a midfielder. With Camavinga, right? Let me go over here. I don't know what's going on there. Stupid goddamn computer. Camavinga. It's a bit like Edinson Cavani last year. All summer long, we weren't really linked with Cavani, and we went and signed him on transfer deadline day when he was a free agent and he was available all summer long. Why do we wait until transfer deadline day to do that? With Camavinga, he is available. He has been available all summer. The price now I'm seeing is dropping to 30 million. And I think that's what United have been doing. We've been playing a game of chess with Ren, knowing full well that they don't want to lose him on a free because he's going to be worth between 30 and 50. I've said it all along, and I've been, you know me on the channel. For the last couple of weeks, I said, look, if United are going to sign a central midfielder, it feels like it's going to be Camavinga. And I've kind of maintained that. Apparently, we're still interested in signing him, but at this particular moment, it's still between United and PSG. But man, PSG are busy, man. They've already spent all their money. Head down to the comments, all the super chats you guys are sending in. Anna, how you doing, my friend? Saying, I think Ole is trying to decide what his best formation and starting 11 should be for the upcoming games. Sancho and Varane should start in the Wolves game. Look, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realise that Sancho and Varane should be in your strongest Manchester United 11. They should be starting every single game for Man United in the Premier League. And I think both were fit. And I think if you played Varane, and I've said this before, if you played Varane against Southampton there, you would have seen Manchester United playing with a higher line. You would have seen Fred and Matic, instead of receiving the ball on the edge of their own box, they would have received the ball more towards the halfway line. Therefore, we wouldn't have sat so deep. Therefore, our midfield would have been stronger against Southampton. You didn't play him, and we sat a little bit deeper. And it was an issue. It was a big issue. Victor, how you doing, my friend? This is our chance to sign Harry Kane. Do a swap deal plus cash with Martial. Listen to Gary Neville on Monday Night Football. We should sign Kane, do a challenge for a title. I think Camavinga or Neves will come in. You let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Do you agree with Victor and Gary Neville that Manchester United should be going after Harry Kane this summer? Because look, at this point, it almost feels like Gary Neville is Harry Kane's bloody agent. He really, really does. I find it odd at this point. I find it a bit odd that Gary Neville keeps pushing it, because there's such a gaping hole and a problem in midfield at Manchester United. The concept of just going after Harry Kane because he's the best British player in the Premier League. Yeah, cool, he is. But Manchester United have got bigger problems than spending or going to try and spend up 100 and 150, between 100 and 150 million on Harry Kane. And I think it's unreasonable for Gary Neville to be saying these things, because he knows full well that Manchester United and the Glazers at this point are not going to go and spend 100 to 150 million on Harry Kane. It's as simple as that. It's almost fantasy to say it. And given that we have actually been working more towards a long-term strategy with signings under Solskjaer, you know he wants Haaland next summer. And signing Harry Kane rules out Haaland next summer. The issue, look, I understand what Gary's saying. I understand that Gary is saying, look, if you sign Harry Kane, you've got 20 plus goals there, makes such a difference. He's going to be the player that's going to help you get towards 90, 95 points to win the league. But we're also not spending 150 million on Harry Kane, Gary. So what's the point in having the conversation? I find it odd. I find it really, really odd. Let me see what you think about that in the comments below. Jack, you're saying no, Harry Kane, we're better off signing Haaland. Don't need a midfielder till next season, says Ed Smith over on Facebook. Iriana, you're saying, I think Kane is a waste of money for his age. I don't think anybody can truly say that Kane is a waste of money. Kane is a fantastic player, but I just don't really think, look, as Gary says over on Facebook, back on Facebook, Gary, saying, we need a central defensive midfielder. It's as simple as that. Victor, you're saying Kane makes any team title favourites. It's as simple as that. I think Manchester United, if we sign the right... Look, man, let's speak in a sort of completely hypothetical point of view here. If we're willing to go and spend 150 million on Harry Kane, then I want United to go and spend 60 million on signing Ndidi and keeping that 90 million for Haaland next summer when he's available for less than that, actually. 75 million. Simple. If we're willing to spend that much money on Harry Kane, hypothetical, if we were willing to spend that much money on Harry Kane, as a football club, we could spend it a lot smarter than dropping it all on Harry Kane. And as Gary says here, and it's something I actually I've always felt, this team is not going to struggle to score goals. This season, we will see Bruno Fernandes get 30 plus goals and assists in all competitions. If Paul Pogba stays and if Paul Pogba's on this form, he'll get 10 plus goals. Martial, I think he'll get 10 plus goals in all competitions, but I'm not going to rely on him too much. Cavani, depending on his fitness, I think we can see 20 plus goals from him. Mason Greenwood, hell, why can't we see 25, 30 plus goals and assists from Mason Greenwood? Rashford, when he comes back in, throw Jadon Sancho into there as well. We are not going to struggle to score goals this year. Simple. We will struggle to control a game of football. And that's always been Manchester United's problem. Always been Manchester United's problem. We don't have that midfield which is just comfortable in possession. When you had Carrick, you had Scholes. United could just ping it around in the middle. 2 or 3 minutes could go by and Manchester United were just playing with the ball, just passing it around, balls over the top, little intricate 1-2s, back around the defense. Easy, very easy to control the game. Manchester United will not do that with this midfield. We can't do that with this midfield. Certainly not with Fred and Matic, Fred and Matic don't particularly like having the ball at their feet. They like passing to someone else as quickly as possible. So both of our central midfielders there against Southampton wanted to pass it to someone else as quickly as they could, rather than being the central midfielder that sort of holds the game. Says, no, just give me the ball. Which is something I certainly think that Donny van der Beek would do better than both of them. But United haven't made a move for it. And I've still maintained that I think Manchester United will sign another player this summer. I really, really hope so. But it very much depends, I think, on Jesse Lingard and his future. Bazzy, how you doing, man? Nice to see you in the comments. Obviously, UPTV legend. I saw you join. You're saying like a hot potato. That's exactly what it is, man. I remember, was it England against Ukraine in the Euros? I remember saying it at the time as well. The last 5 minutes of the game. Yeah, cool. It's a bit easy when you're 4-0 up and sort of the game's going by. But it was just controlled possession, just ticking the clock down, simply by keeping the ball at their feet. Now, you let me know in the comments now, who is it? Who do you think could be, and I want you to be realistic here. There's no point shouting Ndidi. There's no point shouting Rice. I don't think United are going to sign either of those players. The three that we have a chance of signing, I would say, Ruben Neves, Eduardo Camavinga, and apparently Saul Niguez. Saul Niguez saying here that Chelsea are considering a late loan move for him. Saul Niguez, if he's available on loan, Saul Niguez has to be somebody that has to be considered, surely. So there's three there. You got Neves, you got Niguez, and you got Camavinga. You let me know in the comments, which one of those players do you think could actually make the difference that we need this signing to make? Because Camavinga is somebody he's a younger player. No one really knows what sort. I don't think he knows what his own position is just yet because he's early in his career. Neves is a bit more experienced, Premier League experienced. Let me see what you think in the comments here. And there's loads of you watching and there's loads of you commenting. So if you would, drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new in town. I like these discussions. So do you. But let me see what you think in the comments. Josh, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. You think Neves. Ali, you agree. You say Neves. Jonas, you're saying Neves or Niguez. Yuki, you're saying Neves or Camavinga. Ali, no, I've already done you. Neves. Who's Neves? Joking. Neves. Nathan Pitt, how you doing, my friend? Adrian Anthony Smith, sorry, you're saying Ruben Neves is the one. Get it done. Get it done. Bissouma all day long, says Connor. Obviously, a very impressive player for Brighton. Not someone who, again, a bit like Ndidi, you find it strange that we haven't really been linked to him because, you know, no offense to Brighton, but if United come with a good offer, they will sell. Neves is Premier League proven. Hey, look, if I'm looking here at the majority of your comments, I'd say a lot of you agree on Ruben Neves. I've said that there's still there's a good amount of noise there for Camavinga, but for me, I'm agreeing with the comments, and it's not because I'm pushing a Neves agenda. Although I definitely am because I think he'd be a great signing. But I think Camavinga is an 18-year-old raw central midfielder from Rennes in League A. Somebody who doesn't have the experience of the Premier League, and that's not the main issue. The main issue I would have around Camavinga is the fact that he's played as part of a midfield 2. He's played on the right-hand side of a midfield 3. He's played defensive. He doesn't know his own position yet. And at 18, your position is rarely set in stone. Someone like Neves is someone who can come in and we know exactly what he's going to do at Manchester United. And he's actually played in a double pivot the majority of his career at Wolves, even though I think he could play on his own as a single pivot. Now, the super chat coming in from Victor. Good to see you this morning, my friend, man. Kane is too expensive to get this window. Let's get a mid in this window. Sign Haaland or Ronaldo in January. Apparently both available. Selson Deadwood, simple Sam. What do I think about Fred? He was poor. He was poor. But when you play Fred in that position as part of a midfield double pivot, I don't think you're ever going to get really a strong performance. He was okay against Leeds, but that's because McTominay was sitting a little bit deeper than him and it allowed him to go a little bit further forward. Fred is not a double pivot midfielder. Fred is a more box-to-box midfielder. So is McTominay, the only true holding midfield we have in our squad is Nemanja Matic, and he's just too old. And I find it weird. Look, this summer, Manchester United, and we still have the opportunity to turn this into the single greatest transfer window that we have had since probably we signed, was it Anderson and Nani and Hargreaves, I think, in the same window back in like 2007, before we won a double. And instead, we should be buzzing. We've signed Jadon Sancho, right? One of the best wingers in world football. 21, exciting. So exciting. And we've signed Rafael Varane. One of the best centre-backs in world football. Two absolutely top-tier players have come into our club this summer. And yet we're frustrated as fans. And it's not because we're spoiled at all. You know, it's been a painful 7 years following United. Certainly when you see everything that City and Chelsea are doing, continuing to do in the window. And it's because it does not take a rocket scientist to see where Manchester United's biggest problem was going into this season and where it still is and where it's now been exposed against Southampton. Now, if we don't use that as further evidence that we need that signing, then we're mad. We're absolutely mad because it's so obvious. It's right there. Come up here. Look, we're going to play Wolves this weekend, right? Let's see how Ruben Neves plays. It strikes me as he's the sort of player that would thrive in that pressure. And that's something that no one really knows about Ruben Neves. Would he be the sort of player that takes his game up a level if he goes and joins a club like Manchester United and leaves Wolves and the stage is bigger? I personally think he would. That's just a guess. I can't really prove that's right or wrong. It's something it's just a gut feeling, really. And it's not as if United haven't been a little bit busy. You know, Brandon Williams, he's gone on loan to Norwich. Axel Tuanzebe, he's gone on loan to Villa. Deschamps Bernard, he's gone to Hull. I think Tenen Menge is going. James Garner's gone to Nottingham Forest. I think Manchester United have actually done largely quite well using the loan system this year. But Jesse Lingard is still the biggest issue. Jesse Lingard is really the biggest issue that we have. And he came on against Southampton, which maybe they're, again, putting him in the shop window, but I don't know what it is. Jesse Lingard shouldn't be at Manchester United anymore. Not because Jesse Lingard's a terrible footballer, but because he's not in line with what we need to do. And if we need money coming in, he's the man that's going to get the money for you to spend on the player. I mean, we shouldn't need to sell to buy another player, really, but apparently we do. Chris, you in the comments here. How you doing, my friend? Nice to see you. I'm really sorry. I really don't understand why Ole plays Fred over and over again when you have Donny sitting on the bench with the quality we need in there. And I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure either. It must be down to discipline. It must be down to the fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just does not trust Donny van der Beek as part of a holding midfield, and that he sees somebody who can come on the pitch for, say, Paul Pogba if he's playing on the left of a central midfield three, or Bruno Fernandes if he's playing on the right, and he just doesn't trust Donny in a double pivot. And Surendran, you're asking the question there in the comments there. Actually, no, look, I'll throw it to you in the comments. What do you think is the issue? You know, try and put your I don't know, put yourself in Solskjaer's shoe. There is a reason why he's not playing. We don't know what it is, but what do you think it could be? Is it literally just down to trust? Is it down to the fact that Solskjaer just prefers Fred there? What do you think in Solskjaer's head is a justification for not starting Donny van der Beek and continuing to play Fred? Let me know what you think. I'm genuinely curious as to what you think that reason is. Surav, how you doing, mate? In the comments, you're saying I've been a big advocate of Ole since he took over, but his choices at times have baffled his ardent followers. He should be held accountable for his tactics. Every manager makes some bad decisions. No manager is perfect. So I'm not going to be sitting here trying, Ole out or anybody. There's no justification there really for that. Manchester United are in a fantastic position as a football club. But it just goes to show that as soon as even if you get a 1-1 draw against Southampton, that these conversations are going to fire back to the surface again. It's because they're always there. They've always underlined it. Nathan, what you're saying, stop playing Martial as striker. One last shot on the left wing, and if he flops, sell him. If we sign a DM, Paul Pogba won't be on the left. Greenwood is our striker behind Eddie. I agree completely that Greenwood should be playing through the middle, and I agree completely that Martial should be playing on the left. Absolutely agree with that, my friend. Anthony will say, never rated Fred. Matic is past it. Give Donny a chance. Gary, you just don't think that Solskjaer rates Donny van der Beek. Let me see what else you're saying here. He must Donny because he really hates this player. Like, I don't know. Solskjaer is a very gentleman manager. I don't think he hates anybody. But something's up. Something really is up. I might have to do a video on this like separately because I find it very weird. I'm going back down to the comments here. Josh, you're saying Sam goes all the time. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I don't know what. Some of you having a little argument down in the comments. Less of that. I'll tell you what was weird. Southampton, there was a few scraps in the away end after the game had finished. I hadn't seen that before. It was a bit tetchy, the atmosphere there between, obviously, Southampton, as you saw in my match reaction. Well, they're giving refunds to everyone because everyone couldn't get in for 20 minutes. It's just a bit odd, the feeling in the away end there. Anyway, Mohammed, what are you saying? Van der Beek worked hard and bulked up a bit compared to last season. He deserves to be given a chance at least. Don't know why the fake Brazilian starts all over and over again. Look, Solskjaer is a man who has resorted to McTominay and Fred so often in his United career as manager. It's his default. It really is his default, isn't it? When I don't know, whenever we play Liverpool this season, whenever we play City, we know we're playing a double pivot. It's guaranteed that we're playing a double pivot. And we saw all of, I think it's because throughout the summer, I remember when the stories came out saying that Solskjaer has told his squad that he's going to be moving to a more attacking-minded formation. He's going to be moving to a 4-3-3. He wants to move away from the 4-2-3-1. He wants to get the most out of these players. And I think it's a disappointment of seeing and reading that. And then at the first opportunity to move away from it, which for me was this game against Southampton, we didn't. We defaulted back into it. And we stuck with the 4-2-3-1. We played Matic and Fred. Two slow, quite static, non-dynamic central midfielders. And the same issues that we saw last season just reared their ugly head. And Solskjaer didn't make it. He made it worse for himself by not starting Raphael Varane. Because as I said, if you play Varane there and we play with a higher line, you can then have Maguire and Varane acting as the deeper line playmakers because they'll be able to push a little bit further up and they can do the sorts of passes from in front of our own D that maybe Matic and Fred were trying to do. And then you can get Matic and Fred, we're going to be sitting more on the halfway line and operating as actual central midfielders rather than two deep line double pivot midfielders. It's frustrating. I think Solskjaer I don't know. There's no way that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is happy with the midfield he has at Manchester United. No way. And he should be pushing for this signing. And I've said it all along, man. I think Manchester United's title campaign will come crumbling down before it's even got started unless we sign a central midfielder. And I don't think Camavinga will be that midfielder. If I'm being completely honest, Camavinga is somebody who's... look, we could all be proven wrong about that. And I'd love to be proven wrong if we did sign him. But Camavinga is an 18-year-old from Rennes who's played in a variety of midfield roles and could be brilliant at United. He could come in and do a great job straight away. But you wouldn't be able to expect it. If he exceeded expectations, if he joined, it would be fantastic. But you wouldn't. It would be unfair to expect it. Ruben Neves comes in, you can expect it. Straight away, you've got an established, experienced, proven midfielder who can come in and do that job from deep that we need badly. Because we need that person, whoever that midfielder is, to be able to play make from deep. As I showed you there against Wolves, against Spurs this weekend, 19 long passes from Neves, 16 accurate, created 5 chances, 57 passes. 6 tackles, 1 interception. I don't have to bang the Ruben Neves drum anymore. I've proven it. And he's proven it now with his performances early this season. Imran, my friend, you sent a super chat in there, but you didn't put anything in. I'd love to read your comment out there, but I can't. If any of you really want to get involved in the channel, by the way, drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. I always like these chats that we have every morning, so please keep firing in your comments. Please keep firing in your super chats. And if you want to support the channel as well, hit that join button, get involved. It's a great community, and I love these debates that we have. Try not to fight in the comments, though. Navin, you're saying, did you check the United Journal? United want to loan Saul Niguez. Hey, look, that's what I said, man. If you can loan Saul Niguez, why not? But at the same time, you'd be like, why would United sign Saul Niguez on loan when we've got Donny van der Beek sitting right there on the bench? And that would probably be a fair argument. If you're really going to go out and sign Saul Niguez on loan, just play Donny. Very, very simple. Victor, you're saying, I think it's time for Pogba to play midfield instead of playing on the left. Play Sancho there and Greenwood or James on the right. When Cavani returns from injury, Greenwood striker, Sancho right wing, Martial left wing. You let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Do you agree with Victor that Paul Pogba can maybe play as sort of a deeper midfielder? If I'm being completely honest, Victor, I would disagree with that entirely. Paul Pogba is far better suited to playing on the left of a midfield 3 or out on the left as a front 3, but somebody who drifts inside more. I think if you play Paul Pogba in a double pivot alongside Matic or alongside McTominay, you're not getting Paul Pogba getting 4 assists, that's for sure. You're not going to get the best out of Paul Pogba, and it's a bit like playing Greenwood out on the right when he should be playing through the middle. Putting square pegs in round holes, it's not what United should be doing. Play the players in the best positions. And this is what I said about Manchester United this summer. Playing McTominay as part of a double pivot, it's not his best position. Playing Matic as part of a double pivot, it's not his best position either. He's too old to play it on his own. Every midfield setup that we have this season is going to be a compromise unless we sign a central midfielder. And this is what I've sort of moved away from this idea of it has to be a pure holding midfielder like Wilfred Ndidi. And that's why I keep saying central midfielder. I think that's what we've been looking for. I think that's why we've maybe not gone after one. I don't know. But it feels like we're not really going after a pure holding midfielder like Ndidi or maybe someone like Basuma. It feels like we're going after more of a central midfield option. Someone like Ruben Neves, who's a bit more all-round to his game. Someone like Eduardo Camavinga, someone who's a bit more all-round to his game. But we just aren't going after any of them. And there's a week to go now. I've gone on record and said I've always felt that Manchester United will sign one, but I'm concerned we won't. I'm really concerned we won't, because this summer, oh man, if we sign a central midfield this summer, it would be such an incredible summer. Anuj, what are you saying in the comments, mate? If Solskjaer plays Scott in defensive mid and Van der Beek in central midfield, we will have a much better and stable midfield. Martial, Matic and Fred should never be started together. Now, stability in midfield is key. I agree with that. And as I said earlier, the ability to just retain possession in midfield and recycle possession is just, it's an asset that our midfield just hasn't had for so long. Typically, Manchester United, we try to move the ball through our midfield as quickly as possible. Just get rid of it. We try and move, we try and fire it to the wings as quickly as possible. Rarely do you see our central midfield just kind of holding the ball at their feet, maintaining possession and maintaining control of the game. And that's why Manchester United, typically, we move so fast from defense to attack. You don't really see us keeping the ball in the middle for like 20, 30 seconds and waiting for that gap to open up and then getting the ball through. We're bang, 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 up to Bruno. 1-2, bang, bang, around the corner to Sancho. When it works great. And United are very tough to stop at that point because we're really exciting. But up against these low block teams, it's not as easy to do that. You have to be ridiculously precise to do that at speed. And therefore, you need midfielders who can just retain possession. And if you do that, and you move left and right across the pitch, you create gaps. You pull a defence away and you force the defence to move left and right instead of just up and down. United don't do that enough, and therefore it's why it's so easy to do that low block. Surav, you're saying Ollie has tried over and over to do a lot of things in his tenure. If you see the pattern, you will observe. As good as this side has been, we've looked flat very often. And we have looked, no one's going to really disagree with that, my friend, because we have looked flat often. We looked flat against Southampton. And the point proven there, look, we had that 25-minute period in the second half where it was just zippy football. It was fast football. Southampton couldn't really stop it. We didn't finish our chances. We never really created that many clear-cut ones. I remember Pogba's shot going just past the post. Greenwood had a header from a set piece. Thought set piece wise, we actually looked okay against Southampton. Hopefully that's what's his face. Ramsdale? I think it's Ramsdale. Our new set piece coach actually doing something. But unfortunately, despite any positives that we may have seen against Southampton, the same issues reared their ugly head, didn't they? And that's why we're having this conversation. That's why we're speaking about Ruben Neves. That's why we're speaking about Eduardo Camavinga. Jesse Lingard, he's been on United's list for so long in terms of we can shift him on this summer. Andreas Pereira to Flamengo, that's been done. Cool. But Lingard has to leave and join West Ham. And Manchester United, I think we're ruining our own opportunities here because we're pricing Lingard out of a move. And therefore, we're just going to, hold on to Lingard? Bring him on for the last 5 minutes of games? No, man, we've got Amadiano. Bring him on for the last 5 minutes of games. Bring someone who has a future at the club, someone who you want to give those minutes to because he's going to improve as a player. It's strange. There's so many positives that I can say about Manchester United, but there are negatives there that we've seen last season that aren't anything new, and therefore, and I've said it all along. There's nothing wrong at any point in life. There is nothing wrong with making a mistake. But make that mistake time and time. Repeat that mistake. You're not learning. You're not seeing, that didn't work. Let me try something different next time. And that, unfortunately, is what United will be doing this year unless we sign a midfielder. Victorum, I'm saying when Cavani returns, if United don't sign a midfielder, Pogba should play in mid with McTominay. Play Sancho left wing, Greenwood right wing. The team will do better, I think, in my opinion. Martial and James as subs. Martial should be playing out on the left. Simple. Don't play Martial through the middle. Greenwood or Cavani, there are two striker options this summer. Maybe we're going to become unstuck. We're going to get an injury to Greenwood or an injury to Cavani, and we're going to run out of options up front. Cool. At that point, that's when you're going to play Martial. But Rashford's out for a few months. Martial should be playing out on the left there and nowhere else. But saying that, Paul Pogba playing on the left there was a big reason why we dominated against Leeds. It didn't work here against Southampton, though. It's because they're different types of games. If Southampton played like Leeds did, we would have won that game 5-1 as well. Let me head down to the comments here and see what you think. Senzo, you're saying, I'm sorry, I don't think we can win the league with the midfielders. It's shocking, mate. We have the best defence in the world. Well, very nice. But we need that world-class CDM. I feel sorry for Varane. Look, bringing Varane into this team is going to make a difference to our midfield straight away. It's going to make a difference to our entire defensive shape as a unit. Man United, in our own half, will be a substantially better looking and more balanced team with Varane in it than without Varane in it. That's why I was annoyed that he didn't start against Southampton because he's fit. And there's no reason, well, as far as we know, there's no reason why Varane didn't start that game. And the fact that Sancho came off the bench for half an hour, again, it goes to show that he was probably fit enough to start that game. And we need to play our best team against Wolves. We need Varane in that starting 11. We need Sancho in that starting 11. We need McTominay. If we're looking at the best team that we have at the moment, McTominay is definitely in that best team too. It's who you would play alongside him. That's the confusion. Imran, how you doing in the comments, my friend? Here, I see this one saying Fred, Martial, Matic, Jones, and Lee Grant. I'm guessing should be sold. Get Neves and Camavinga. I don't understand why Solskjaer keeps playing Fred all the time. Play Donny van der Beek. I'll be honest. Look, I can't disagree with any of you now in the comments. At this point, it seems I don't know why. I really don't know why Solskjaer is not playing Van der Beek at all. There has to be a more sinister, is that the wrong word? There has to be a reason why he's not being played there, because it's just a bit weird now. It's just a bit weird. Martial, what you're saying, Marshall, you're saying, has anyone thought why Van der Bench is still a bench warmer, even when Pogba moves to left wing? Look, that's what I'm saying. No one really knows. Nobody really knows what's going on, and it's just a bit odd. Mounts, you're saying, get Varane playing straight away. Why was he on the bench? What is Ole doing? Look, as fans, we can only guess from looking on the outside in. We have to trust our manager that there's a reason why Varane didn't start. There's a reason why Sancho didn't start. And there's a reason why Van der Beek didn't come off the bench. Because if it's just... I can't see a reason. You can't see a reason. But we can't make just pure assumptions on what we can see, because we don't know. And this isn't me trying to defend Solskjaer, but I don't want to see any... I don't want to feed knee-jerk reactions this season. I think Manchester United as a football club are in the strongest position right now that we have been in post-Fergie. But there is an obvious issue in midfield that we have to resolve. We really have to resolve, because Manchester United have a chance this year to push for that Premier League title. And it's an opportunity that we cannot afford to miss as a football club if we're going to be taking steps towards where we want to be. It's as simple as that. Let me head down to the... It's a really interesting debate this morning. That's why I always like doing these, actually having a proper conversation with you, you firing in your comments, you firing in your super chats and your opinions. I try to make this genuinely the most interactive show that there is for United on YouTube and Facebook, and I hope I do. And if you are enjoying it, please drop a like on the video. If you are new, subscribe or drop a like on the page on Facebook as well. Jackie, you're saying the reason why these players didn't play is Solskjaer. Simple as that, right? Okay, that's a fair opinion. Now, Jackie, you think that? Anad, you're saying, I think Ole wanted Varane to see for himself a Premier League game in live action. Be an odd reason not to start Varane, man. This guy's won 4 Champions League titles. I don't think he would have needed to watch a live game of Man United before playing. Let me go down to the comments here. Let's take Saul Niguez, says Singer. Look, I think Saul Niguez, I don't think there's much point in him if we're not going to play Van der Beek. If you want a ball playing central midfielder, just play Donny Van der Beek. Don't now go and sign Saul Niguez. If you're going to sign a central midfielder, you sign someone who can make a difference. And for me, out of the 3 options that we have there, Ruben Neves, Camavinga, 18. You don't know what you're getting. He could be incredible straight away, but we don't need that, do we? We don't need incredible. No, we need. Sorry, it's wrong. We need incredible straight away. But I don't know whether you can take the risk on that with Camavinga. And Saul Niguez is a player in a position where I think we already have quality and strength. And therefore, Ruben Neves, out of all the players we've got, absolutely. Oh, look at that. Big up. Victorim, how you doing, my friend? You finally joined as a member. Big up to you. What's going on there? But look. Let me see what's cracking on in the comments here. Why can't United sell both Fred and McTominay if they wanted money for a new central midfielder? I don't really think that selling our actual midfield options right now is the best way for us to get. It's not going to strengthen our midfield, is it? What's cracking on in there? There we go. Craig, you're saying, just walked into the stream now. Good day from Cape Town. On this topic, I still believe Neves is the best bet as he has Premier League experience. Look, let's see what goes on. The Leeds game was a brilliant start to the season. It was an absolutely outstanding start to the season, something that got us all excited. We saw Paul Pogba getting 4 assists. We saw Mason Greenwood playing centre forward and being stunning performance from him. We saw Bruno Fernandes get a hat-trick. But it wasn't games like that we were all worried about this season, was it? It wasn't games where we're going to come out and the team's going to come up against us and leave space in behind. It was always a game where we did good last season. The games where we didn't do that well are when we play against a disciplined team who invites the pressure onto us. And that's what happened against Southampton, and we became unstuck straight away. So Manchester United now have 7 days to correct this problem. We have 7 days to sign a central midfielder, or Solskjaer and Manchester United will not be able to sustain a title push this season. I keep saying summer and season. The summer needs to piss off so I can stop saying that. But look, I apologize for not having a stream up yesterday. Went to the Southampton game and it ruined me. Really ruined me. Not going to lie. But it was cracking to be back at a stadium. It was cracking to see that. I was frustrated. To see it. Victor joined as a United legend. Big up to you. I'm glad it finally worked for you, my friend. One of the OGs of the channel, Victor. If you want to join, like Victor and become a member of the family. Look, as I've showed in this stream, as I show in every stream, it's all about your comments. So I like going to and from. If you've got an opinion I disagree with, no, I'll still talk about it and I'll explain why I disagree with it. I won't just ignore your comments if I disagree with something. But if you want to join, hit that join button down below. There's 3 tiers. The cheapest one is cheaper than the price of a pint. It's your way of supporting the channel and helping us grow. And trust me, I know it's been a bit hit and miss this summer with the videos, with the streams, but trust me, from the 1st of September, we're starting to get slick and we are not missing anything. And I'm glad that all of you will be involved in that. And I want to take it forward as well. Let me head down and read a few more comments out here. Anuj saying, when are you going to Old Trafford? I paused my season ticket this season in protest of the Glazers. Anuj, so I'm not actually sure. And I'm more interested in going to see the away games anyway. Crowther, you're saying, Sam, I don't think Ollie can win the Premier League with Ollie in charge. He just makes schoolboy errors. I think we can if we sign a central defensive midfielder. Simple as that. United People's Army. Yes, Bazzy. Big up to you as well, my friend. Shirish, you're saying, McTominay is the best that we have now. We should play him with CDM and Pogba and Bruno in front of him. I agree. That is the best midfield setup I do believe Manchester United have. It's still a compromise because McTominay is not a holding midfielder, but it's the best that we have. Surav, you're saying, let's assume we're not adding further. I'd still put my money on this team. Donny needs to start with our new signing. Don't need to panic straight away. No one's panicking. I think panicking is probably the word. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want to feed knee-jerk reactions. But we saw these problems last year. We're seeing the problems again this year. I want to see it. Oh, look at that. I saw you on TV. I've got a screenshot. Hey, if anybody got that, send it to me on Twitter @SamPeoples_. Apparently I was on Sky. Send me the screenshot. I'd be interested to see that. Victor, you're saying, I wish I'd go to Old Trafford. Give me your ticket, Sam. I've paused it for this season, so no one's getting my ticket. Manuel, you're saying Neves. I'm saying Neves. Neves will be key, and I really hope that it happens. Let's see what goes on this season. We've got Wolves this weekend, and Wolves, it's going to be a tough game. It should be a game that opens up a bit more, which plays more into United's hands, but we'll certainly be watching Ruben Neves with a hawkeye to see how he can play. Thank you very much for everyone for joining in today. If anything big happens, I'll be here breaking. I've got a couple of more videos going out this week. If there's any video ideas you want me to do, you let me know in the comments below as always. But look, if you're new here, thank you very much for joining in, for tuning in over on Facebook and on YouTube. Make sure you drop a like on the video and make sure you subscribe if you are new as well. I'll be back tomorrow. Don't you worry about that. But thank you very much for joining in this morning. And hopefully with a week left, we sign a defensive midfielder because we need one, don't we? Take it easy, everybody.